What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're all doing well today. Today we're going to be doing the disassembly and maintenance for the Miguron Moyarl. Moyarl? I'm not quite sure which way you say it, but we're going to get into it. Let's do it. All right, so we're going to be doing the disassembly and maintenance on this. I have my NAFS tool burrito roll out here that I use to organize all of my tools. I wanted to do it on the big disassembly mat though, so I can spread out. That's great for like inside. It's really been handy for when I need to do something really quick and dirty, and I keep all of that together inside, so it's nice for that. But I really wanted to spread out today. So as you can see in the burrito roll, I have if I needed to get into the pivot to do any cleaning or anything, I have those generic ones that I found out on Amazon. If I need help with centering, I got a little piece of cardboard here for that. I have my Wii titanium pry bar. I have my bit lever gear that holds 2 10s, 2 8s, 2 6s, and I have my thread locker all in here in case I need that stuff. What I have on the table is going to be this generic applicator that I picked up on Amazon, and I put my own oil in. I like this pin style applicator because it allows me to put it in the burrito roll altogether, whereas the hops applicator is more of a traditional eye drop style bottle, and it doesn't quite fit in there with everything else that I have in there. I recommend Weehaw bits and a good driver. Now, you don't need to spend $100 on a driver. You can get the Weehaw stubby bit driver linked down in the descriptions below. Relatively cheap and affordable, and it comes with some of the hex style bolts bits that you need. This one here is a Griffin tool, 100 bucks. I like this micarta. It has patinaed nicely. You can see, you know, depending on where I have oil on my finger and things of that nature, where I'm holding it. I like the thicker piece down at the bit because for my larger hands, and I think anyone really, it's going to give you better leverage if you have a tighter bolt. I liked the Scout tool that I had, but when I went from the little bit of a skinnier driver head here, for lack of a better description, to the one on the Griffin, I found that I really like this, and it has really good texturing. I'm surprised at how good that texturing is. Now, if this is anything like the Valona disassembly that I did, you do not have to remove the pocket clip, and it should be, yep, all T8 hardware. I like to disassemble from the lock bar side. Everything is up here. It's easy to control for both the disassembly and reassembly. So we're going to go ahead and start by loosening the pivot, and then we're going to take out the body screws. And as you can see, it makes quick, short work. Another reason that I do like this mat is because it has these little magnetized pockets out at the top that you can put your hardware in, and it's not going to bounce anywhere if you hit your table. So I do like that. So let's go ahead and finish with the disassembly. We'll go ahead and take the pivot bolt out. We should be done with everything that we need to do. It is that simple. 3 bolts and you're done, and even better because they're all T8s. So you have your pivot collar here. I'm going to be cleaning the stainless steel liners up on this one, and I am not going to do any tuning on this one because I feel like it's really, really good. Now, this is a little bit different than Valona. This one has the nylon washers with ceramic bearings, which I really like. I have found that on the Kung Wu knives, those work really, really nicely. So what I'm going to do a complete clean up of everything here. I'm just going to grab the stop pin, just going to wipe that off because it just has a little bit of dirt and debris on it from the factory. Going to go ahead and take the pivot bolt that fell out and wipe that down and clean that off, and we're just going to set that to the side. I'm going to go ahead and grab these are the 5mm 1/16. So these are not going to be the 3/64 that are thicker. These are the thinner ones, which is probably why they're in that nylon washer versus the brass washers that came on the Valona. But they feel really smooth, really good. I'm not finding that any of them are snagging, so I'm going to leave them be. It should be good to go. They should hold up really well. They look plenty beefy, so I'm not concerned. All right, now that we have all that cleaned up, let's go ahead and take this one off the blade, and we'll go ahead and clean the blade up. You can see it has plenty of dirt and debris in that pivot there, and on the lock bar it's got a little bit of dirt as well. I'm trying to get a good little reflection there, but I really can't. So hopefully you can now see that it was clean. Everything looks like it's just dry. Well, hold on now. We might be grabbing the rubbing alcohol because that is not coming off. So hang on one second. Let me grab. I use a different cloth for that. Actually, I'm going to try some Simply Green first. So some Simply Green cleaner. I'm going to try to just spray in there and see if that will get whatever's in here is out. I always hold it by the keyhole or the thumb hole or the thumb studs. Trying to spray lightly because I don't want this getting all over everything and me missing some of it. So let's see if this cleans it up. If this does not, I will try the rubbing alcohol, but I am surprised to see that this is, I don't know what it is. I almost want to say it looks like a little bit of rust, but it could just be, that the edge is burnt. Sorry, I was trying to look at it closely. The mat's a little far out with how I have it set up for top down. I'm not really sure what's going on in the pivot there. So hold on, let me try to grab the rubbing alcohol instead. And let me switch to a different spot on the cloth. So I have, dry. Let's see if the rubbing alcohol does anything, and if not, it felt fine. So I'm just going to reassemble it. I mean, the balls are ceramic, you can tell because they're the darker color. Yeah, whatever it is, I think it's going on with the steel itself. I'll keep an eye on it and update you, but it's so weird that it's on the same spot on both sides. So I'm not quite sure what's going on. All right, let me go ahead and throw my cloth to the side. We'll go ahead, reinstall the pivot, and then we'll need to clean the bearings. Oops, my scales are dancing around. I'm trying to line this up. Yeah, oh, just so you see, it has this notch here, and then on here it has the, it has the flat spot. Sorry, I'm looking at the knife itself off camera. There we go. So now it's in there nice and flat. I'm going to go ahead and finish cleaning off the washers. Yeah, they came nice and clean. Let me double check them one more time. Yeah, feels smooth and without even any oil. Yeah, they feel really good. All the balls are there, so I'm not too worried. We're going to keep going. Not sure what those markings are. Could have just been something that happened at the factory, maybe. All right. So these are, yep, feeling really good. Whoop. I'm going to grab the pivot and stand it up so it doesn't fall out on me. And then I'm going to put just a little bit of oil on the top and lay it back down. And I think the pivot moved. Hold on one second. Nope, it's in place. We're good. We're good, we're good, we're good. All right, now I'm going to install the stop pin. And there's no play there. It feels nice and solid. Now that we have our lube on the actual pivot, we'll reinstall the blade. Hard to pick these skinnier ones up. Go ahead, same thing here. This is again that applicator. I think I can't see the oil because it's such a fine applicator. And I end up leaving just a little bit on the blade, and I'm just going to use that to put it on the detent track since I have the extra there. Detent ball ramp track. Yeah, track. Doesn't have a ramp, does it? Nope, no ramp. And then what we'll do now that we have everything back in place, I'm going to go ahead and just clean everything off here. And maybe I will move that lock bar over just a skosh, just a touch. Get everything nice and cleaned up here. All this grime and grut off. Not that you can see any of this, but That's just my OCD kicking in. Got to have it all clean. So just going to take it and lift up on it a touch. That should be plenty. We don't need much more than that. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the reassembly of our Miguron Moyarl, however you say it. Oh, what's going on here, my friend? Oh, there we go. Wasn't falling in like it usually does. So reinstall everything in the reverse order that you started with. Oh, I thought you were in the hole, my friend. Nice and snug. I haven't had an issue with it backing out on me as much as I've carried and used it. About 2 weeks worth now that I've been carrying it and using it. This is a nice size too, because I'm able to keep it as a companion carry on the weekends, and then during the weekdays I'm able to also use this as a companion carry. It's a great size. It's a medium-sized knife, so you don't really have no play. Way too tight in the pivot. Way too tight in the pivot. Hold on for a second. Okay. Oh yeah. Woo! So are we centered? I think that's my only complaint about this, is it doesn't go all the way out to the end, but I think we're centered. Just a hint of play. I might need to use thread locker on this one. This one feels like it's gonna be an issue. Let's see. All right, nice and solid. Let's give it a couple of flicks. The only thing I really feel is the detent ball. All right, yeah, it's starting to back out. So I'm gonna go ahead now. I mean, that's just like, what, 5-6 flicks? Not gonna deal with that. I didn't mean to do that. That totally slipped out my hand. It probably looked like on camera that I threw it, but it literally just slipped out of my hand a little bit. Is it not out all the way? There we go. So just gonna take a little bit of thread locker and put it on the screw, and then do my best to pinch it and get it in the threads. And then any extra, we'll just go back in. Well, that's almost not even enough to fight with to put back in the container. A little bit messy the way that I'm doing it, but this one is so thin that I don't want to, not that I'm, that almost didn't seem like it was worth putting back. Whatever. All right, let me move that out of the way. Come on, stay up there. And go ahead and make sure that it starts this time. It didn't start last time. It felt like it was in there good. There we go. Now it's in there. And then what I'll do is I'll just let this sit for 48 hours and cure. The thread locker sometimes by itself is enough to gum it up, but no play. Don't want to fall shut. There we go. Yeah. Sometimes it's enough to, what I was saying is gum up the pivot so that it will, I wonder if I can clean those marks up any better. Enough to clean up the, to gum up the pivot to keep it from falling out. Oh, did I check the centering after I redid that? Yeah, that is dead center. Dead center. But this is such a great knife as I've continued to use, carry, cut with it. Just for a daily, you know, that you want to carry on you. It's got a very generous forward finger choil. My hand lands perfectly in the middle of the cutout there. I got plenty of space back here. I can also get 4 fingers on there if I wanted to move back. But to me, this feels like right tucked back tight against the back, and having the fingers back a little bit and angled here when I'm cutting with the knife. This is super comfortable, and because it's so chunky feeling in hand, it's wonderful ergonomically for me. I love the milled clip. My only complaint would be, hey, can we just, even if you have to angle it a little bit, can you come up, maybe just make this the body screw and get rid of the curvature there? But I guess that would take away from the styling. But I would just like to see the clip come all the way up to the top as much as you can, and maybe move this bolt over to the very tip here, or just make that the body screw and that there, and just get rid of that extra screw, and maybe you save some money on some hardware by doing that. But great ergonomics. I love the little keyhole shape on this one here. Feels fantastic. The blade's a little bit lighter now, so it's not quite as smooth as the Valona. The Valona having the heavier blade, you don't need to give it that extra shake towards the end. But this one here has got enough grip where if you do just a little medium, it's going to close, and the detent is strong enough to where it's going to catch it and not let it bounce. So let me see if that fidgeting, yeah, just a hint. So I'm definitely gonna have to let it sit. So I'll let this sit for 48 hours, and let me see. Yeah, that's probably about right. Yeah, I'll let it sit for 48 hours, not play with it, let that Loctite cure. But anyway, hopefully this helped you if you were looking for something for your Moyarl or Moyarl. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Moyarl. I think Moyarl. If I remember right, is the correct pronunciation, or close to it anyway. But as I was saying, I hope this helped with your disassembly and maintenance. And if you were wondering if you're interested in skiffs, this is going to be the 1/16, not the 3/64 for that 5mm pivot. Very important to make note of that. It has that newer style, and I really do like those. I feel like it has the extra ball, and they feel really smooth. Or is it 2? I think it's 2 extra balls on there, and it feels really smooth, and it's solid in the pivot, right? That is going to have less gaps for any type of potential play, theoretically. I'm not saying it will or it won't. I just feel like they feel very smooth when I'm using those bearings, irregardless. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like. If not, I completely understand. Thanks and shout out to everyone out there that does like, comment, and is subscribed. I appreciate all the love and support. I hope all of you have a fantastic week, and until next time, peace.